Hello guys, I'm Gart, the game designer of Vermin Games. We're here to play a few sessions of A Place in the Sun, our new game.
I am Iglike. I am a friend of Gat, and he asked me to come here to show you how to play 1v1 and the cooperative version of A Place in the Sun.
First of all, A Place in the Sun is a dial-based hand management game. You will know what this means when I explain it. First things first, you choose a solar system for your planet and a planet and the deck which goes with it to play on this solar system. The solar system determines the amount of starting power of the player. In this case, I have chosen a red giant. I may have chosen something else, but the point is, I have a fixed amount of starting power depending on the sun I'm starting on. Like a yellow sun, you have 20 powers, a red giant 25, but weaker defenses. We'll get back later to this. A red dwarf, less power, but better defenses on the orbital moon SWAT, and so on. You put on your solar system your most important component of the game, the planetary dial. In the beginning of the game, you take a certain amount of power, 25 in my case, and when you lose this amount of power, you basically are being eliminated from the game and you lose it. There is another victory condition with the influence deck. We'll get back to this later. So, you choose a planet, let's say planet Earth, our glorious civilization in space. You start with your deck, you shuffle it, and with a much smaller deck of 3 cards, the leader cards, which are being put here on the leader slot. They are shuffled again. In the beginning of the game, you draw 5 cards, which are your starting hand. You may mulligan it, well, like gathering it, shuffling it within the deck, and drawing another 5 cards. But let's say this is my starting hand. You have 3 types of cards in the game. One of the types are the orbital cards, another are the action cards, and the third one are the leader cards. So, it's very simple. When you play an action card, you play it, it does its effect, which is described here. See the comet over here, its action, it comes and goes and disappears. And you put it in your discard pile. The orbital cards may be played in 2 ways. First and most widely used option is to place them as an orbital defense. Placing an orbital card means you have this defense here, these 3 points of power of damage reduction, which is the life of the card. When you play orbital cards, you can place them in any order you like, before, in front, behind, or whatever of your other orbital cards, or in between. When an enemy decides to attack you, he must go through all your orbital defenses, destroying them one by one. First, the ones which are the most out from your planet, then the next, then the next. As a normal play action, you can also play a leader card, which is just placed here. You have 3 leaders, you decide to play a leader, you place it like this, and if you decide to play another leader, this one should be discarded, and you turn the other one. The other way to play an orbital card is to place it here in the moon slot, where you can keep only one card, where the card cannot serve you like a defense from attacks. It is on the same line with the planet, but it is defended itself. It has more defense here, a bonus, which depends on the solar board. So in this case, this space telescope, which is precious to me, it doubles all my damage. It's basically an amazing card. It has only one defense, and here it has +1. So the important part and most unique in this game is how many cards you have to play each turn. In the beginning of the game, you have 3 cards. This number here, it's the starting number, this position, 3, depicts how many of your starting hand you must play. Not may, you must. There are also cards which allow you to change this position in some direction. Basically, you play 3 cards, keep the other cards in hand, and in the end of your turn, you draw another 3 cards. So, as you may notice right now, not all of the cards in the game are beneficial. There are cards which have bad effects, and this way, this mechanic is very useful. Sometimes you can play a card for changing your planet position and go in a more risky scenario, in a more risky mode of your planet, or just play out your bad cards in order to have a better combo in the future with the good cards you have left in your hand. Now, changing your planet position changes the number of cards you have, the count of cards you have to play from the other turn, according to the number which is described here on the lower part of the dial. If you, for example, have played the Protests card, being a human, I'll explain later about the human cards and their effects, but if you have played the Protests cards, here this means you must increase your position by 1. This means from the next turn you have to play 4 cards. This is good and beneficial since you may make a better combo, but it is also dangerous because humans are the only faction which has bad cards. They have cards like Protests, which increase your position but make you take self-damage equal to your current regime, current planetary position. So you play Protest, you lose power. Not very wise sometimes, but sometimes it's the better move. The humans have also, according to the left icon, so remember, the right icon is whether it is an action, so you play it and discard it, or an orbital. You play it and you place it, so it does its effect every turn. On the left part, in the left part of the card, you see this symbol, which means military, industrial, or social card. See the terrorism card. It's a gold with C4 explosives. It's great. So, you have these 3 types of cards. The industrial and the military cards consist of 20% of your deck, 50% of your deck are the social cards. Social cards are usable as support, usable to change your politics, your planetary political regime, or just to piss you off, because there are cards which have bad effects or effects which are good and bad among the socials. These are always good. So playing a human is all about control, all about making the right combo at the right time. You play all the bad cards at some points, in the hope and using your, it's not only hope, because you can use your leaders and your other cards to adjust your top 5 cards of the deck. You'll see that during the game, and make the best of your deck. Make a great combo and destroy everyone, especially with nuclear strikes. So, let's take a look at the human cards and regimes. You have 5 possible regimes. You start a democracy. See that bulletin here. You're having to play 3 cards out of 5. You play 3 cards, then you fill your hand up to 5 in the next turn, for the next turn. If you increase your regime to liberalism, you play 4 cards, which is maybe dangerous because you have bad cards in your deck sometimes, but you are more effective. As an additional punishment for you, all social cards you play bring you some self-damage. At 5, all social cards bring you 5 self-damage, and you have to play 5 out of 5 cards, which is not very good. In authoritarianism regime, you have to play only 2 cards, which gives you good control, but maybe, depends, but maybe bad ability for combo, bad combo potential, but you may discard 1 card. And in this position, you play 1 card, and it's totalitarianism. You play 1 card and you may discard 2 cards. So basically, this effect, which is down here, happens from the next turn. It happens depending on which position you start your turn. The effects which are depicted here in the middle happen during the same turn. If I play a social card, I will take damage. About the card effects, I hope you see. Is it well seen? Yeah. I hope you see the effects. Here, on back of the rules, we have all effects in a short preview. This means dealing damage to something. This is distributable damage. This means if I have, say, these defenses, like having 1, 1, and 1 here, the enemy may basically use distributable damage of a card such as this battle cruiser to destroy 1, 2, 3, all of them, and since it's 5 damage, deal 2 damage to my planet. So I'm losing 2 of my planetary power. This is attack to a single target. So it's the same, but like in this card, Patrol Shuttles, you may sacrifice this card, you may discard it to deal 3 damage. So basically, you lose it just to destroy this thing, and you cannot use the damage for the next targets. This is the defense. All defenses will be restored by the moment somebody... if you destroy this card, it's gone. But if you cannot destroy it, if you only reduce its defense, by the next turn it will be restored. Gain power, it's quite self-explanatory, since it's just like the power tokens. For each symbol like this, you gain 1 power from the power token pile. And this one, if you notice, lose power, like in here. It is something between the attack icon and gain power icon. It's in the middle. This is self-damage or losing power. As you may see, the humans, of course, have cards like terrorism, which turns you back to a more well, radical regime, more power authoritarian regime, and you take damage of your planetary power. So, these are the basic rules. There are two special rules. Whenever on your cards there is a look or reveal effect. For example, let me find a card like this. Mutiny. It's a social card which is bad, normally. It says, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck and discard any military cards among them. So basically, when it's look, you show, only you look at the cards. When it's reveal, you show them to everyone. And if there are cards for fulfilling the condition, you make it. In this case, there is no military card among these. So anytime I'm looking or revealing something, I'm doing whatever is written on the card effect, and then I can return these cards in any order I like on top of my 5 cards. This is crucial to the game because it gives you more control of your deck. It gives you an ability to adapt because you're not only managing your hand, but also very often managing the top 5 cards of your deck. So you have an insight what will be in the next turn. And since you're keeping cards in your hand before you make your next turn, it may be very beneficial for your play. So in this case, I decide, well, mobilization, this is good. Protests, bad. Corruption, bad. Military complex, good. Orbital factory, good. So I'm placing these cards on the top. So I must be sure that I will draw them in the next turn. Anytime you look or review, you may do it in the other player's deck. In the end, humans have their special faction skill, which is called revolution. It's very typical for us humans. When you have 2 bad cards in your hand, you may decide to make a revolution. In this case, you have to discard 5 cards, at least not exactly 5 cards from your hand, and move your planetary position by 2 positions to the left or to the right, going from democracy to totalitarianism, because why not? Because you expect that the other cards are also bad and you will need to discard them, so this may be useful. The human deck has many draw effects or effects which allow you to look and reveal and take some cards in your hand, so you can adapt using these mechanics. You may discard the bad cards, draw on others, and so on. A quick look on the other factions. You have also, they are very different and very asymmetric from the humans. Well, let's say the Arachnites. They're insects. They have 3 types of icons. The first one, half of your deck consists of these larva mutation cards, which do nothing on your dial in terms of moving it normally. It has its effect depending on what's written on the dial. If you start at 3, playing a larva card just gives you power. In position 2 and 1, it's the same. In position 4 and 5, your planet is overpopulated with larvas and they eat your eggs. So playing a larva turns you back in the position. You have also these cards with an egg, which directly move you up or down. They fertilize your larvas or provide you with eggs, something like that. Or just the opposite, cost you eggs and put you in a weaker position. So The Arachnites are very different from the humans because with the humans, all positions are equally fucked up. Being an insect means you're effective. All of your cards are nice and good and usable. They're weaker from the human cards. But it is hard to maintain a high position of your planet. So basically, you're trying to do it, but your best cards will turn you back. So from the next turn, you will play less cards and normally make less combos. This is why they have their faction skill for sacrificing free points of power and increasing your position by once per turn. They also have their queens as leaders, which sacrifice position to draw cards or sacrifice position to increase or give you a discount on increasing position, different effects. The Thetians, well, they are the other technological race in the game, faction. They have, three types of cards. These, and these. See here, we don't need the rules now. So, the Thetians have maybe half of their deck is orbital cards, which means they can rely on a good protection in orbit. They cannot be easily destroyed. On the other hand, in order to activate one of their orbital cards, you have to pay a cost. In this case, the maximum free power to power up this cannon and deal 4 damage to some other planet or orbital defenses or whatever. So they also have these, let me find them, generator core cards. There are 4 in the deck. See these dots here, they represent how many cards you have of this type in your whole deck. So the generator core decreases the power costs for activating your cards. Regardless of the number of cards you have here, this cost is decreased by 1. So to power up this heavy particle cannon, I will only need, if I have a generator core, I will only need 2 for this, also 2 for this. This will be for free. But playing a generator core, see this arrow here, decreases your position in your planet. Where it is, I can't find it. Here. By 1. They are unique also in this, that if the card which changes planetary position is destroyed or removed from the game in any way, the change is reverted back in the other direction. So when the generator core decreases this, if it's destroyed, this position is increased back to free. So the game self-balances it a bit. These cards are very valuable and they have wall defense, so in most cases you want to protect them. The other type of this card is the auxiliary platform. It just increases your position. So if you have more auxiliary platforms, you have more place to put your generator cores in terms of theme. You can also, at any point of the game, you can at any point of your turn, you can use your faction skill to lose one of these, to discard a generator core or an auxiliary platform in order to draw 5 cards, which is very powerful, but these cards are very few in your deck. And the last type of cards you have, the craft cards. which are normally just single play action cards. See the comment. If your position has been increased to 4 or 5, playing a craft card gives you power. If your position is 1, 2, or 3, having activating an auxiliary platform or generator core during your turn brings you 1 power. This faction is the more stable in all faction. It stays the most in the same positions. It's generally the opposite of the humans who adapt all the time and change political regimes and throw themselves from democracy to liberalism and such. Last, the Rheans, the plant mind. They have 3 types of cards. Most of their cards are these leaf cards, which have their effect according to what's written on the dial. And the others are the pollens, which increase your position, but they are mostly support cards. And the proto-jungle cards, which decrease your position. The proto-jungle cards, their idea is that, well, you're the smart plant on the planet. You're the intelligent life. But there's also an intelligent plant life, which is powerful. It may be used in your advantage, but it costs, harms your position in your planet, and it sometimes harms you. Well, this deck is very has many mechanics for drawing cards, discarding cards, gaining power, not so much in terms in defeating the enemy, but in terms of finding what you need in your deck and maintaining a good position. And in addition to that, they have these parasitic cards which deal damage or make something awful to everyone on the table, including yourself. But the difference is you can take it. You're a plant. You cannot be destroyed very easily, but the enemies may stay at 4 health left, and attacking them with something which deals 4 damage to everyone on the table may destroy them or put them in very bad position, and you're like, meh, I can take this. So, I have promised to... another thing for the Rheans, position 2, 3, and 4, each leaf card, which are 50% of your deck, gives you power. In position 5, a leaf card turns you back. In position 1, a leaf card increases your position. Your planetary skill allows you to sacrifice your position for gaining power again, because you may need it. These are the Extinctors, the cooperative mode of the game. They are a common enemy, which is the only thing which may serve as an incentive to stop us from fighting each other and try to stop that overpowerful opponent which has the program to wipe out all life from our planets. So we have normally no other common interest than expanding, but in this case we have something more. They use the same cards, same types of cards as in the player decks. Well, they have action cards which are played and then they go in their discard pile. They have orbital cards which give them defense. And they have these special leader cards, which are the programs which change the way it plays. On their dial, they they start with a position equal to the number of players plus 1. This is how many cards they play during their turn. In this case, if we are 2 players, it starts at 3. And for each leader card, program card, it draws from its deck, it will increase its position by 1 to 4, to 5, and to 6 cards per turn. So it gradually increases the difficulty. These cards, the leaders, are shuffled in equal stacks of 10 cards in the other 40 cards. So you divide your deck basically in tens, and in each 10 cards you shuffle one of the leaders and then form the deck. So you can be pretty sure that at pretty equal intervals you will draw a leader and increase your position. The other nasty thing about the Extinctor opponent is that its strength increases exponentially with the number of cards played. Their cards communicate with each other very, very well. They have these iBot cards, which do nothing, but they are placed at top of the deck of a player. So, see these icons on the left. This is the player which is affected by the card. This one means the player with the highest power. See, it's a skull with a power symbol. The simple and unhappy skull is the player. It is player that targeted the player with the least power. And here, these cards, like the leaders and some other cards, they affect the Extinctor itself, or all players. So let's see, the iBots seem like harmless cards. They are 8 in the deck, which is pretty much, and they do nothing but they are placed on the top of your deck. So in the next turn, you will have to draw them and deal with them somehow. Well, maybe not so much cards, whatever. So if by some reason, because your planetary position in the moment is like 5, or for some other reason you decide to play them, playing this card in your turn means you have to place it in your space, like here, and you cannot ever remove it. The Extinctor will increase all its attacks by a certain number depending on how many iBots you have placed in your space. Like the Annihilator satellites, this satellite deals 4 damage to a single target, and it adds 2 damage to the same target for each iBot. Or the Extinctor bots, which they try to kill and finish off the player with the least power. They deal damage to the lowest player, 2 damage directly to his planet, regardless of his defenses, and 2 damage for each iBot in front of him. So this is a rare situation because iBots are normally distributed to the highest power players. But highest power players change because it's hard to tank all of the Extinctor attacks all the time. You will get some iBots if you're highest power, then get some hits from the Annihilator satellite, and Then comes the wild twin bot platform, which deals 2 damage and 1 more damage for each iBot placed. So basically, you will not be the highest power player in all the time. You may change your position, or if the situation remains unchanged for some time, the programs, in addition to increasing your the Extinctor strength by adding more cards to his play, they also, in some way, they manipulate the iBots on the table, like moving all placed iBots in space of the highest power player, or in space of the lowest power player. And in addition, it forces all players who already have iBots in their hand and they haven't played them to place it on the table. So basically, the moment you gain an iBot in your hand or on top of your deck, it's your priority to get rid of it. But which thing you will do first? Get rid of your iBots or protect your allies by increasing your power? Or try to kill the orbital defenses of the Extinctor and deal damage to it in order to destroy it, because it has a certain amount of power. It's about tactics. And sometimes, all the time, about strategy, how the players play together, distributing roles and adapting to the situation. Some of them may tank the hits, while others build a strong orbital line to attack the Extinctor and destroy it eventually. If you destroy the Extinctor, you save the world and everyone's happy, and so on. The Extinctors also have the faction skill, say it in this way. It is passive. And we have planned to introduce different types of Extinctors as stretch goals in our campaign. This one, the Doomforge, well, it basically produces many orbitals. Orbital cards are like free to it. When it produces an orbital card, it plays 1 more card for the turn. So you can imagine it is well protected and it is very powerful. As for playing and placing orbital cards, the Extinctor makes its turn as follows. It plays as many cards it has to play first and places the orbital cards, like, well, an iBot to the highest power player, a battle satellite placed here but still not activated until I finish playing cards. Then the next a command satellite, which is, well, see the effects. A battle satellite deals 1 damage and 1 additional damage for each other battle satellite. And then comes the command satellite, which counts as a battle satellite and a repair satellite, and it has a great defense. So it's placed in front of it. Since the Doomforge plays for free its orbital cards, I have to continue playing cards. I have played 1 card. These ones are free, so I'm continuing to play. Well, another battle satellite. Well, another iBot and battle satellite, repair satellite. What happens to this deck? And the last iBot. And then I should trigger all these cards 1 by 1 from the outest to the inside. Never fear that they will become too much, because the orbital cards are a small portion of the deck. Well, this one wasn't shuffled very well. See, repair satellite. A point about the art of the cards. As you may see, not all of the arts have been finished. Some are work in progress, some are not so beautiful, and being just a placeholder. will fix and increase quality of components over the campaign. It is an easy task for us since we have many artists, but we have many cards to draw also. Oh, here this Lenin Santa. I love this card. And lastly, this is the secondary winning condition in the game. You have a deck of 30 cards which have a number. During the game, you draw 3 of these cards, place them in everyone's view, and at the point where someone fulfills the condition which is described on the card, he wins that point here and takes the card with him. And then another card is drawn in its place. For example, you have more cards in hand than everyone else. That's easy for some factions, harder for others. This is the Smuggler's Hold. Another thing, Astro Plague. Deal at least 5 damage to an enemy planet, take 3 points. World's Factory, gain at least 10 power, gain 3 influence points. At the moment when somebody gains a total of 8 points, he wins the game. This is a secondary win condition, which is very useful in games with 3 or more very competitive players, when the game tends a little longer sometimes, and this solves it, because at some point somebody wins. But usually games take quite short.